Hey, Dennis O'Brien back again on Let's Talk About It. A little disappointed. You heard our show last Friday with me and Susan and Katina Caban Owen, and you know I wasn't happy with the outcome at the top of the ticket. So I'm not going to get into it, but I'm a little bit blue. I'm very happy that Senator Flexer is returning to the state Senate. That was my campaign I worked on very hard. And I'm very happy. I knew it was going to be close, and it was a great victory for May. She does a great job for Windham, Mansfield, and all of the towns in the district in the state Senate. Oh, well, let me introduce now. You might wonder who that was, unless you know her because, you recognize her voice. But it's Kit Eves, Catherine Kit Eves, who is here in her capacity as I don't know, what are you in the Lions Club?
I am on the board of directors of the Lions Club. I've served 3 different terms as president, but I'm currently not president. I'm just a doobie. And
you're a former president. You can always make a comeback, like Grover Cleveland or
Trump. No, not him.
There's Susan Johnson. Where is she? She's out there somewhere. Was she talking to somebody?
Looks like
Susan Johnson is in the building, so we're going to have her presence real soon. That's Presence.
I'm happy May won too. My son served as her treasurer.
That's right. He certainly did. He served quite well. In fact, I was in touch with him today about something, but it wasn't. He was also the treasurer for the Democratic Town Committee.
Yes, he is.
And I had to contact him today to pay the bill to the Chronicle.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, well, and he said, "Well, I got a lot of stuff to do." I said, "I know that." I said he was covering all kinds of campaigns, and he worked on election day and brought me a sandwich.
Well,
I was at the VFW working, and Josh, I told him I trade jobs with him.
We've already told him.
And hey, here's Susan Johnson.
Hey.
We have a full house now. We have Matt Rupar with us, of course, our wonderful producer.
Wow, what a great
and
shirt.
Kit Eves and Susan Johnson, and I'm Dennis O'Brien, as you know. And
Yes.
so another great show today.
Well, we do. We're really honored that we have Kit Eves with us, a fellow Lion,
Yes.
and which we are both members of the Lions Club. And I have to say how proud I am to be a member because what you're doing today is what Dennis and I are all about, taking care of the people.
Exactly that. I'm proud of this particular program. When we started with this fundraiser for the No Free Shelter, it was just a matter of just getting socks. I had seen on a Facebook post that people who are involved in shelters, who need shelters, the thing that they wanted the most was socks. So the first 3 years, all we did as the Lions Club was put boxes all around town to gather socks. And then one day, when I was president, the light bulb went off in my head and went, people who have to use shelters like the No Free Shelter, they need more than socks. So from that point, it was like, okay, what do they need? What can we get for them? How can we get this out to the public so we can get more than socks?
But let us not diminish the importance of socks.
Absolutely.
And you know what? If you get to be my age, socks are really important. I take good care of my socks. I make sure that they're washed regularly and they're in the right place so I can put on a fresh pair often because, wow, when I was young, I could put anything on my feet. I could wear cheap sneakers. Now I have to get just the right shoes, just the right sneakers, and just the right socks. And socks are important. Your feet got to feel good. They're important.
And I got to say, Dennis, you do the great thing by buying Bombas, and they donate socks to the homeless.
They do. For every pair of socks that Bombas gets an order for, they match it for another pair of socks to the homeless.
That means I'm paying for it, and I wish I could deduct it, but my taxes. But I'm really pleased to support socks for the needy.
Yep.
Very important. But you're right, Kit. The people that are down and out for a while and need to be in the shelter, they need as much help as we can give them.
There are other things that our No Free Shelter is looking for this year. And so I've got a list of those things. And what I'm going to ask you to do, because today is our fundraiser. The Lions Club is going to be on Bridge Street this afternoon. And this show airs at 5. So between 5 and 6, you've got an hour where you can bring those things there. And what we need are winter coats. Go into your closets. what winter coats that you have that you haven't been wearing for the last couple of years for whatever reason and still serviceable, dig it out. If you have winter hats, mittens, or gloves, if you have winter boots, I know a lot of people who get brand new winter boots every year. Well, the old boots, don't throw them away. They're still serviceable, and they can be given to somebody who desperately needs to have winter boots. The shelter's also looking for sweatshirts and sweatpants. So you can't, when you stay at the shelter at night, you can't be in pajamas. So you have to have something that is serviceable and comfortable. So sweatshirts and pants. They're also obviously needing things like toilet paper and trash bags. But I learned something when I was doing this research. They're looking for brown paper bags. The lunch bags you had when you were a kid and you sent them out. They're looking for those because when you come into the shelter, you have personal items that might get stolen while you're sleeping. And some people, because they're on the streets, they need to protect themselves and they have knives. So when they come in, all of those things are put into the brown paper bag with their name, and they're locked away in a safe. So that personal items, any money and stuff they have, and weapons they might have, are locked away so everybody in the shelter stays safe. So that's something else they're looking for.
Well, it's good to have you on to talk about the shelter. It's I don't know that much about what goes on inside the shelter. Mm-hmm. I was, of course, a legal aid lawyer for 23 years, but that ended in 1995 when I went into a different type of law, and then became judge of probate. But I worked an awful lot with low-income people in town, and I still run into people that I worked with back in the day when I was judge of probate. And it's very gratifying to have people run up to me and hug me and say, "Judge O'Brien, thank you so much for what you did for me, and thank you so much for what you did for me as a legal aid lawyer." But I haven't. My contact with the lower income community has not been as great in the past few years as I've gotten older.
Yeah,
much older. But it is good to have you on here, Kit. Not only to talk about the shelter, but also to talk about all the great things that the Lions do.
Well, we do. We just had a pancake breakfast, which is raising money for many other things that are going on here in town. So there's money that's raised that'll go to the Holy Family Shelter and to WAME and to the Soup Kitchen. We do a number of projects throughout the year as a way to be able to give back to the community. There are also projects that aren't for fundraising. One of the main things is that if your kids are in school right now, they are being, especially if they're in the Wyndham schools, your kids are being checked for eye diseases. And there are special cameras that are made, and the child looks right into the camera. It takes seconds, and the camera will decide whether they have up to 10 different eye diseases, including stigmatisms and nearsighted or farsighted. And then those children, their parents are told that they might have this and that they should get a further checkup. The idea behind this is these cameras, the International Foundation has forwarded them to our town. And part of why we have them is because years ago when we were doing this pilot program, it was Willimantic Lions that did this pilot program. And now these cameras are all over the world. Oh. Yet we did the pilot program. So proud of that. And now the cameras are actually in the Wyndham schools, so the Lions aren't there anymore. We've taught the nurses how to do these eye exams. But if you are in one of the smaller communities and can't have one of these cameras, then we'll come out and do it with your kids too. I know we're doing it at the Eastern Preschool, this program very soon. And I like it because children don't know they can't see.
Right.
They don't know that they see differently than everybody else. And so when they're trying to learn in school and they don't understand what everybody else is talking about because they can't see the board, or they can't read because they can't read the print. They get antsy and they don't stay in their chairs, and the teacher thinks they're a problem child, and they're not. They just don't understand what's going on. So we're particularly proud of this program because we catch kids in early stages so they can get the glasses that they need and can be good students and live good lives.
That's really great. And I just want to say also what happened is maybe Dennis hasn't had a whole lot of contact with the low-income community, but as a legislator,
Yeah, you do.
I have a lot of contact with the providers and with the low-income community, trying to make sure we provide for everyone. And this happens to be a place where everybody's very welcoming, and the state is also there to give us more things to do.
Yeah.
And so what I'd like to do is work more with the Lions Club, work more with groups of people here, work more with people all over the state to make sure that we see the similar problems and we come up with solutions for similar problems.
Absolutely.
And that is, but we can't get these things done without a huge group, because we have a way of operating in the state, and to change the standards of how the state operates takes a huge push. And I think that one of the things that we have to take a look at, and I was just from the Medical Assistance Policy Oversight Advisors Group, that's why I was a little late today, looking at the Medicaid program and how that works, and certainly whether they cover glasses is one aspect of it, and how we have the different things that create health for people. And people living in situations that are very difficult, like homelessness, or living in their cars, or living on the riverbank. These are things that are not going to be good social determinants for health. And so what we really need to do is take a look at how the state of Connecticut is managing its, determinants of health, and take a look at some of the things that we'll be faced with this next session. And that is, how are we going to manage the budget? Because we're not going to have federal money anymore. All that was going away anyway, and now we're really going to be in a situation where so much of the federal money probably won't be coming back to the state of Connecticut. So we need to take a look at how to get together and how to make what we have work for everybody. And the fiscal guardrails are going to have to be modified. And not that we're going to take them away, because I think it's been wonderful. We've been paying our bills. But on the other hand, we can't let people stay on the riverbank or go without the right education formula, or go without the things that they need to be able to live a healthy life.
So very true. I think that's one of the things that, because Lions will do things like that. When somebody cannot afford to have glasses, we do have a process. They have to be in poverty, but with that process, we will get them glasses. We'll get them the eye exam if Husky isn't covering them. I think that's an important thing. So I'm the person on point who does that for the Willimantic Club, as I take the applications and verify that they are in need, and the social workers in the schools will tell me who needs to be taken to get an eye exam. We work with a number of physicians in town who do that, and then we get them their frames and their glasses so that they can see. And it's one of the things, too, many of you know that we collect glasses. So if your person no longer needs them, we will collect them, and we will clean them and refurbish them, and they do get taken and given to people who are needy. So if you don't have any winter coats that you want to bring us on Bridge Street today, you can bring your old glasses and we will get them recycled as well. And we also have started taking hearing aids. Hearing aids cannot be recycled, but the components in them can be. And the components then can give money towards buying hearing aids for people who are needy. So
I just want to break in because since it's 5 o'clock show, and your event ends at 6 o'clock. I want to make sure that we talk about it right now and
Okay.
and in some detail. So it's going to be where?
So it's on Bridge Street. The shelter used to be on Bridge Street, and we've decided to stay there because even though the shelter's now on Valley, there's not a lot of traffic. Whereas if you are on Bridge Street, you have to go up to Main Street, and the light stops you, or the train stops you, and so we have a better chance of getting that change from your coffee. But obviously we will take more than your change. We're looking for money. Money to build the shelter. It currently has a capacity of only 28 beds. And there is a much greater need than 28 beds. The shelter is open now year-round for people to sleep at night. That started in April. I didn't know that.
Let's stay with the event for now,
okay,
just to make
sorry.
sure people get to work, because there's not much time left to get down there. So it's
Okay.
it started at 3 today, and it's going to 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. And you're going to be right there, sort of in the parking lot for the.
Yes, where the Whitewater Park is, we
Right.
will have some cars there to take your winter coats and hats, mittens and gloves. We want those socks, and we want boots, sweatshirts and sweatpants, toilet paper, trash bags, lunch, those brown paper bags. But we're also, if you just pull in, give us a check, we'd be thrilled. and we will take your change. That money will go to help build the new building at the shelter and to keep them open for this winter season. So there's plenty of heat and hot water for the showers that people will need.
Okay, folks. So you still have time to get down to the Whitewater Park parking lot. There will be plenty of members of the Lions Club down there trying to flag you down, because I know I got flagged down last year or
Yes,
the year
you did.
before, and they got me over there, and I looked in my wallet and I didn't have anything less than I very seldom carry cash, but I had some 20s in mine. I said, oh my God, they just they took me by my heels, picked me up, and shook me, and everything.
That was my megaphone.
Everything came out of my pockets, and they took everything I had.
And what I didn't tell him was that I'd already hit Susan up.
But it was a worthy cause, and
Well, we pay her the deal.
Yes, you do.
We like to make sure
anyway,
we take
so
care of her.
they're going to be there till 6, okay? And you'll see them, the Lions will be there with their purple shirts on, and they will be waving their arms and trying to flag you down.
We
and
got big signs that
big
say "Help
signs,
the homeless."
And I'll tell you, they do such a great job here in Willimantic and nationwide, worldwide, to help people in need. And we're going to talk a little bit more about those, all these programs that the Lions do, but want to make sure we emphasize that you've only got a short time to get down there
Absolutely.
now, and help out the not the Lions Club, but the people
But
at the
the
Lions
homeless.
Club help.
And 100% of the money that you donate, 100% of the money you donate will be going to the shelter. The Lions Club does not take a percentage for doing this work. We take absolutely nothing from these kinds of projects. Once the expenses are done, the rest goes to the project. And that means that I also, let me just put in my plug. We have sponsors. Most of them are anonymous sponsors who help pay to be able to do this. But I want to say thank you to my son, who is the owner of All Sleep, who every year sponsors this event.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's Joshua Eves, and
That's
he's
right.
he's a
Josh
great
is a-
guy, and
He's wonderful to work with.
He's-
And he's
oh.
really pitching in and helping people out all throughout the community. And he's got a great store in Allsleep as well.
well, he's following in the footsteps of his mother Kit and his father Jamie. No question. They've set a great example for him here in town, and Josh Eves and his wife Karen are
Top
important
notch.
members of the community. Fantastic.
Yes, they are. They're doing
I'm
great
very
work.
fortunate with my family. I'm fortunate to have a daughter-in-law who loves me and I love her. Not many people can say that, and I can, and so that's a great thing. Anyway, because I had sponsors, we have the WILI car doing live broadcasts, or have been doing the live broadcasts before this show. And so everything we make is going to go towards the shelter at this project. And
Well, I have to give a plug to WILI now because I'm just so glad we have a local radio station. And I was
It gives a damn.
today at the ribbon cutting for the walk-in health services, and that's over there by Planet Fitness. And WILI was there, Keith was there recording, and so was Colin and his father. And here we are again at WILI, and they're participating in all the events in the community. So thank you, WILI AM and FM.
Yeah. Hey, and Colin Rice is a lion too.
Oh, he's been a
That's
Lion for
right.
as long as I've known him, and we knew Colin when our daughter Leslie was playing farm league baseball for the Little League when she was like 7 years old. Colin was her coach, and that's how we met Colin Rice. And I think, as far as I know, he's been in the Lions Club ever since, and Keith too. And actually,
Not Keith. We're working on Keith.
You're working on Keith.
Yeah.
Well, okay, Keith is a project. Okay, so
Keith
so.
and his wife, we're working on
Oh,
it.
right
Okay,
there
well,
he is.
you're more likely to succeed with his wife, but I thought he was already in there. But he's helping you out today, right?
Yes, he is.
Okay,
Absolutely.
probably his father is providing a little bit of impetus. That's good. Thank you, Colin. Thank you, Keith, and
And thank you, Hartford Health, for opening the walk-in clinic. We are very thrilled that it's open. It's by Planet Fitness, and I've had lots and lots of people contact me, but today was the grand opening. So
Terrific.
So just tell us again, where can the people donate?
Okay, Bridge Street. You want to go to Bridge Street, which is off of Main, and the Lions will be there until 6 o'clock, and you can park in the Whitewater Park. So,
Yes, right where the
and you can
farmer's
pull
market
over
was.
there. Yeah,
Right where the farmer's market was
is.
all summer long. It's right there in that Whitewater Park. It's really a great place to be. It's a great place to make a donation.
Absolutely. And, if you want to be a Lion, we will be happy to talk to you about that as well. We just inducted 4 new people Wednesday night. We're a growing club, and we are a younger club, which is also terrific. We've got folks who want to join, and we'll be happy to talk to you about working with us on our next project.
Wonderful. That's great.
okay. Well, Kit does a great job of being a promoter of the Lions and any organization she's with. She's worked with so many do-gooder organizations. So don't mind. I hope you don't mind being called a do-gooder, but you are.
Oh, no, I'm a doobie.
You are a
You remember
do-gooder.
Robert Rowe?
And I like to
I'm a
think of
doobie.
myself as a do-gooder as well. I've been a do-gooder most of my life. Susan Johnson as well. We mentioned Colin Rice. Keith Rice is doing it even though he's not a
Yes.
Lion. And we also have Matt Ruparter. He's a do-gooder.
All right,
He
Matt.
doesn't realize it,
You
but he's
can
a
be a
do-gooder.
Lion too.
He's a do-gooder
Could have,
too.
I thought about it actually. Talk to me about it before.
Okay, hey, we could have, if he gets inducted, we could do it right on the air.
Yeah, we
And,
could.
and when Susan and I got inducted, we did it on television up at the station. They had candles and everything. It was kind of like, wow.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
almost like a religious experience.
Well,
Almost.
it's not that much of a secret society
No,
kind
it's
of
not.
thing, but the idea is that we want you to have a beginning idea of what it's like to be blind. So we do blindfold you, just to have some idea, because of course that's what we're trying to do. Is we're trying to help people, and our focus often is for people who are blind.
Okay, we're going to take a break right now, and we're going to be right back with Kit Eves talking some more about the Lions Club and all they do for the community, plus what's happening today down at Bridge Street and the Whitewater Plaza there.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Susan Johnson. I'm here with my co-host Dennis O'Brien and our very special guest and Lion, Kit Eves, who is here to talk about the great work that the Lions Club is doing, helping with the opening of the homeless shelter here in Willimantic. And so welcome back, and tell us again, where is everybody going to make those donations to help the people with the homeless shelter?
So you want to go to Bridge Street, and you want to go right now. We will be there until 6 o'clock. So come and donate your coffee change. Come and donate. Bring a checkbook and write a check. We're looking for you to help keep the No Freeze shelter open today.
And we want to say Whitewater Park on
At,
Bridge Street.
yes, I keep forgetting that, and I'm
Yeah.
glad you keep saying that.
Get into that Whitewater Park. It's
Yep.
beautiful there. Take in some of the views, donate, and
And just pull your car in there
Yeah.
so you're safely making your donations.
right.
If you don't get this message until it's too late to come, then you can go on the Lions Facebook page and find out how to make a donation. I'm going to give you my phone number. We talked about this in the club, so if you have something that you want to donate and you can't do it until later, my number is 860-617-4364. And I do not have a message machine, so I will call you back if I don't catch you. The things we're looking for: winter coats, winter hats, winter mittens and gloves, warm socks, winter boots, sweatshirts, sweatpants, toilet paper, brown paper bag lunch bags. I left out that they are also looking for fast food gift cards. So Dunkin' Donuts, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Burger King, places like that. Those things can mean the difference between somebody having a breakfast or not. And in the wintertime, having something hot to drink when you're really, really cold. So please come by, make a donation. Let's help people. We don't see them. Let's help people who are quietly surviving, and just in the wintertime just barely surviving. We don't want to have any deaths here in Windham, where somebody freezes to death. We want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to be alive and a future.
That's right. To be alive. That's where. That's vitally important.
Yeah.
Okay, and the word vitally is related to that. And I think this is wonderful. I think the Lions are to be, praised, especially you and some of the leadership in the Lions who are doing these things, and the people that work at the breakfasts and all the other great things that the Lions do. It's just amazing, and it's definitely a great cause to help people who are, to save them from homelessness. Imagine being homeless. It's got to be horrible. Susan,
Yeah.
you're a big advocate against homelessness, and you. There goes Keith Rice right now. I hope he was listening. No. Anyway, I'm not thinking here.
Let's bring him in here and make him a lion.
Well, I don't
No,
know. If
we
can-
can't.
We don't have the candles. I mean,
Yeah, we don't.
right. We don't have, or there's a little kind of speech that has to be made.
Well, one of the things that you have to do that we don't have all throughout the state is we don't have enough shelters.
Yeah.
For example, there is no homeless shelter in Norwich. Now, Norwich has more people than Windham does.
A lot.
Windham has 3 homeless shelters. None of the towns that surround us have homeless shelters. And so they have to take a look and say, hey, thank you, Willimantic, thank you, Windham, for hosting all the homeless shelters, for hosting all the properties that are actually belonging to the Housing Authority. They don't pay any property tax here in the town of Windham. So we have a lot of things that we do for the region, and we should be recognized. And that's one of the things that I love working with the Lions Club. They understand this, and we need to make sure that we give praise to the communities that do the work for their surrounding towns. So none of the towns like Mansfield, Franklin, Lebanon, Coventry, none of them have homeless shelters. So we need to make sure that places that don't have contribute. And we want to make sure that these things are understood by the region. We want to make sure that the towns that surround Hartford also are in a situation that understand the fact that Hartford takes up all the homeless people in the region, and that they have homeless shelters there, but the surrounding towns don't, like West Hartford. And so we need to make sure that we take care of the people in these areas, and we want to make sure that they're recognized. That they're not saying to people in the areas that do take care of people with lower incomes, how come you didn't do this or that? Or shouldn't we have more money than you? Because it's really up to everybody to work together. And I think that we really understand that in Connecticut. We have had a very excellent election here with so many added people to the legislature on our side of the aisle, so that people understand that working together, understanding what the urban areas do for the regions, and making sure that they actually have the resources to do the things that they've been asked to do. And so we really need to make sure people have an understanding of those things.
Yeah, I can remember a few years ago when Hartford was almost considering going bankrupt because Hartford provides so much to the needy, so much. I mean, Hartford is a very caring town, just like Wyndham, and you know, and everybody's welcome, and so you know, a lot of needy people will go there, and you know, needy people can't live in places that don't have apartments, for example, and there are towns that don't have very many apartments at all. And so they flock to places like Wyndham and New Britain and you know, Bridgeport, Waterbury, you know, New Haven. And those towns are really doing a wonderful job of helping people in need. But, you know, a few years ago when Hartford was nearing almost bankrupt, the wonderful mayor they had, Luke Bronin, was able to get the state to give Hartford a grant to cover for a lot of the needs that they had, and people in the surrounding towns were complaining about it. Why is Hartford getting this money? And that is ridiculous. I mean, Hartford is doing so much for the entire region.
Yeah.
Like Susan mentioned, West Hartford, Farmington, all the surrounding towns, and you know, it's just important that the state towns need to pull together, and we're going to need to pull together now in a big way. In a
Absolutely.
very big way, and let it start now. The Lions Club is setting a very good example for the rest of us.
Yes,
Susan?
they are. And I just want to say that that complaint was just misplaced, because what happened in Hartford is they never got any payment in lieu of taxes for all the free, tax-free properties they had in Hartford. They didn't get the right amount of pilot money. They raised so much money on their businesses that many of the businesses left town. And then they had only the residential properties left. Yet the residential properties were being used for halfway houses and group homes and those kinds of things. And then they weren't paying any taxes on those. And there weren't any taxes on the housing authority properties. So they are out lots and lots of money because they provide services. They've got the Capitol there. They got the LOV there. They have all these state properties, hospitals, numerous hospitals that don't pay tax. And I know Dennis was instrumental in working with a lot of the towns like ours, Hartford, Bridgeport, Waterbury, New Haven, that do these services for the region that don't get any property tax. A lot of people don't even understand what property taxes pay for. Oh, okay, they pay for your education. They pay for your, so your schools get paid for with your property tax. Your police, your fire, all these
Your
things.
roads.
Your roads and bridges. Well, not with your property tax.
Oh, sorry.
See, that's the thing I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so, you know, people need to understand that if you want to have schools that have small classrooms, then you got to have a property tax structure that takes care of the kids. And so one of the things that we have not done since the spending cap under Governor Weicker is we haven't been giving the money to those areas. We've cut them, and we've allowed the other places that can raise the money to raise the money. But we have cut the urban areas, and we need to stop it, and we have stopped it to some degree. We have given our education cost sharing grant full funding. We are in the process of analyzing what's going on with special education funds. And I think no matter what side of the aisle you're on, you're going to want to make sure special ed is fully funded, because it's always a surprise at the end of the year to find that, oh, this particular town, small town, large town, no matter what the town size is, they might owe a big bill to special education because a child moved in that had a lot of special needs. So we really need to take a look at our systems. They might have been good 50 years ago, but they're not working today in so many ways.
Okay, well, we're here with Kit East from the Lions Club. And Kit, you've been a member of the Lions Club for quite a while, right?
Almost 30 years.
Wow.
I started with the Columbia Lions because I was working in Columbia, and then when I took a different job, I live in Willimantic, so most of my time has been in Willimantic. Now, one of the things that I've learned about the homeless, because I do have spent a fair amount of time. During the pandemic, I made an awful lot of, I sew, so I made a lot of masks and I handed them out. So I got a chance to talk to a fair number of people who were homeless. And I was asking them, and many of them have part-time jobs. And you wonder, okay, they have a job, why can't they have a place to live? Well, if you think about it, in this world of ours, we have to have a first month's rent, we have to have a second month's rent, a last month's rent, and we have to have a security deposit. People can't afford to pay 3 months ahead of rent when they're only on a part-time job. And a part-time job doesn't get you food, and doesn't get you heat, and doesn't get you the other things that are necessary. And you have to have a phone nowadays. In case your boss wants to give you extra hours, you need to have a phone because you don't want to turn extra hours down if that's a possibility. So, people who work still need to have an opportunity to be in a shelter and a safe place while they get their first last month in security deposit.
I just want to add to that because people will say, well, why don't they work full time? And I just want to say, because a lot of the big corporations don't want to have full-time workers because it means they have to pay more benefits and more, so they have more costs associated with full-time workers in some of these jobs. So they can't get the full-time work. They have to work maybe multiple part-time jobs. So that is another problem that is an ongoing issue. That's why they don't have the full-time jobs, because the corporations say, oh, that will cost us money.
That's not just the big corporations. It's small employers too. It's also some of the municipalities that are smaller. They generally will not hire people full-time if they can, get by without a full-timer.
Right.
For the purposes of not having to provide benefits.
Correct.
And it's not like it's not like they intentionally want to hurt people and stuff like that, but it's just part of the cost of doing business and how difficult it is. In some situations, the big corporations, that's different story. Like Stop and Shop, I worked for Stop and Shop when I was very young, and I was in a union, and I got certain types of benefits from it. And now I go in and talk to people who work at Stop and Shop, and most of those people are not they're not working enough hours to get the kind of benefits that I got way back in the 1960s.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the things have really changed a lot since then, and the corporations have gotten bigger and bigger, and they're less connected to the people that work for them.
And they're less, they're not, they're some of them have monopolies. I mean, virtual monopolies, and they can do whatever they want. And it's a real serious problem, and this is still a great country, no doubt about it. But we have issues that we have to deal with, and it's a great country for you if you're not poor. But the difference between being middle class and poor is vast. It's much greater than the difference between being not middle class and rich, in terms of the way your standard of living and how you live.
Rich and middle class is vast, and then the connection between the middle class and the lower income is very small.
That's in terms of dollars, but not in terms of difficulty of life, of being homeless, possibly being homeless.
Of course.
I mean, it is really, really hard to be poor.
Yes.
Knowing we were in legal aid for a long time back in the day, and it was a lot easier for people back then to pull themselves up out of poverty and make something of themselves than it is today. It's a lot harder. It's a lot harder to move up. Upward mobility is much more difficult. Look at the cost of higher education.
I'm not suggesting that it isn't. I am suggesting to you that you're closer to being middle class and low income than you are being rich.
In terms of dollars, yes. I'm talking about.
Well, it's about dollars, Dennis. It really is about the dollars.
No kidding.
It's about the whether you have any home ownership.
Goodbye.
It really is about the dollars.
Okay. Well, anyway, we want you to come out to Bridge Street to make a donation. We're asking people who have jobs to come out and give us winter coats, hats, mittens, gloves, warm socks and boots, sweatshirts, sweatpants, and of course, we need your money. We need your money so that we can keep people warm this winter who are desperately in need of warmth. The shelter is open 24/7, not quite. They close 2 hours every day to clean the place, but they are open throughout the year, which is new. They didn't used to be, and they were only open in November. Started in November and then until the spring, but now they're open all the time. They have volunteers there. They have case management, social workers to help. You can get showers from 1:30 to 4:30. It's also an address that can be used for people who don't have an address as a way to be able to get some of the benefits that they need. So we hope that you will join us and for this last hour on Bridge Street
At the
at the Whitewater Park on Bridge Street.
and that's a beautiful place to give the donation
Yep.
and host this great opportunity to help our homeless population, and which we're all fully aware that we have around here. And we want to make sure that we can do what we can, and the Lions Club is really stepping up and helping out.
And I can't tell you how much I have enjoyed being a Lion over the years. Part of that is because 100% of what we make goes to the charity that we are sponsoring, that we are working with. We pay our expenses, and we pay our expenses for running our club through dues. That money is never part of our charity account. And because we put 100% of what we make, and every club in the world has that same thing, a charity account and an admin account. And the charity account goes towards the project. And because of that, the UN, the United Nations, every year recognizes Lions Clubs International. There is a day at the UN where we can be recognized for that. I mean, there are a lot of other charities out there, folks, but a Lions Club charity, 100% goes to what we tell you it's going to.
That's wonderful, and I just want to get to a UN Lions Club celebration.
Oh, it would be fun.
I would love that. Yeah, I have always wanted to get to the UN, and I haven't been able to get there yet, so I do want to do that. So I want to have Kit summarize again that we want to have people come down. We have until 6 o'clock to come down and donate and give the Lions Club the opportunity to help our homeless people here today.
So come and give what you can. A check is best, but if you just have change, we'll take the change. It adds up. We want your winter coats, hats, mittens, gloves, warm socks. Warm socks are really important. Winter boots, sweatshirts, sweatpants. We're looking for, I didn't really say why the socks are important, but if you think about it, your feet get sweaty, they get wet. If you are out in the cold, they freeze. If your socks get frozen, your feet get frozen. If you begin to lose your toes, you begin to lose your feet. And you get gangrene, and you could lose your life. It's as simple as that. Extra warm socks could keep somebody alive.
Absolutely. So I can't help but thank you enough for your amazing work. And I will be there donating, and Dennis will be there donating, and I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today.
I thank you so much for this opportunity.
Absolutely. And I thank my co-host Dennis O'Brien, and I look forward to having another great show next week on Let's Talk About It.